Who are we? Grupo Financiero Acobo consists of three companies in the financial area: Acobo Puesta de Bolsa, Acobo Vista Fondos de Inversión, and Servicios Fiduciarios Acobo. Acobo Puesta de Bolsa S.A. is a company dedicated to the provision of brokerage services. Created in 1976, it is a founding member of the Bolsa Nacional de Valores de Costa Rica, National Stock Exchange of Costa Rica. Acobo Vista Sociedad de Fondos de Inversión is one of the first investment fund administrators in Costa Rica. Its main function is to administrate financial and non-financial investment funds. Up to this date, it administrates 4 investment funds registered with the General Superintendents of Securities of Costa Rica: Vista Real Estate Fund, Vista Non-Diversified Liquid Colones Fund, Vista Non-Diversified Liquid Dollar Fund, Vista Non-Diversified Growth Fund, in colones. Since the day it received authorization to operate in August of the year 1995, the fund distinguishes itself by the good balance achieved between the yields paid out to its investors and the reliability of the assets under its administration. Previously, 2 real estate investment funds were administered: Vista Real Estate Investment Fund and Vista Siglo XXI Non-Diversified Real Estate Investment Fund. These funds merged into a single fund, Vista Real Estate Investment Fund, a decision that allowed us to have a much more robust and competitive background. That, in turn, translates into better returns for our investors. This type of fund has been operating in the Costa Rican stock market since the year 2000, contributing to the democratization of investing in real estate. Now, the total amount of assets managed as real estate funds in Costa Rica exceeds the sum of $1,115,000,000, with more than 7,000 investors. Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund represents 14% of the entire industry, managing a total of $145 million. This has allowed Acobo Vista to establish itself as a leader in the administration of this type of investment, not just by the amount of assets under its management, but also by the quality of the acquired properties, quality and diversification of the tenants of these properties, and mainly by the yield generated for investors. Investment in real estate. Investment in real estate is a tangible investment. We can see it and we can touch it. The investment in real estate is not subject to the usual volatility of capital markets, but it undergoes defined economic cycles, having great potential for growth. Those who have bought and sold properties know that it is normal to get a higher price when you sell property than what you had to pay when you purchased it. The difference between the selling price and the buying price represents a benefit for the owner, and in terms of investment means an increase in capital. Since the property is rented, the owner will be getting a regular yield on his investment without taking the risk on other types of investments. Investing in real estate is normally a very good and safe investment. As Mark Twain said, one should invest in land because they stopped making it a long time ago. And if you have, as an investor in real estate, an intermediary that takes care of the maintenance of the buildings, gets tenants, takes care of the rent, and pays taxes, then what you have is an investment in a share of a real estate fund. How does the Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund work? The Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund is a fund that uses the resources paid in by investors for the purchase of real estate. looking to generate regular income from rent and capital gains by the additional value generated by the properties, therefore increasing the price of the shares. In this way, the real estate investment fund acquires a group of properties that includes buildings, warehouses, and commercial offices, and this is turned into shares representing that proportion. These properties produce a monthly rental income that is proportionally distributed to investors according to their participation in the fund. In addition, when the real value of the properties that make up the fund increases, which is normal in this type of investment, the value of the shares held by investors also increases, therefore making a profit on the capital invested. What adds great appeal as an investment besides the regular income that the rent provides is the increase in capital made possible by the appreciation of the properties. By diversifying the properties of the fund geographically and according to the use to which they are destined, demand for them will increase greatly. Investors benefit by not having to invest in just one single property, with the risk that this entails, but in various properties destined to different uses, diversifying the risk without having to necessarily make a large investment. Added to all of this is not having to worry about the typical tasks of the care and management of this type of investment, because Acobo Vista Investment Fund Corporation takes care of everything. You do not have to worry about dealing with tenants or charging them rent, nor do you have to worry about maintenance or paying taxes. Moreover, like any other security, the Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund shares are kept in custody of Baenicus, an entity of the Banco Nacional of Costa Rica. All these advantages belong to the investor from the first day of their incorporation into the fund. In summary, investing in the real estate fund of Acobo Vista provides profitability, diversification, liquidity, and safety. All this without having any concern over the administration of your investment, because that is Acobo Vista Investment Fund Corporation's job. The Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund. Acobo Vista Investment Fund Corporation has in operation one real estate investment fund, Vista Real Estate Investment Fund, registered and authorized to do business in Costa Rica, Panama, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. The fund distributes 100% of the net income generated every month, and in accordance with Article 100 of the law regulating Costa Rica's stock market, this profit has a one and only tax of 5%. So sending money abroad for non-Costa Rican investors is done without paying taxes or additional withholding fees. It is a closed investment fund, which means having a maximum authorized emission, and the shares have to be negotiated on an organized market, i.e., to buy or sell shares, the investor must go to a brokerage firm registered on the national stock market to carry out the transaction. The client may negotiate the shares on the stock markets of Nicaragua, Panama, and El Salvador. Vista Real Estate Investment Fund. Vista Real Estate Investment Fund is a closed-end fund that initially had an authorized emission of $20 million, was extended to $100 million, and has currently an authorized emission of $200 million, reaching a book value of $145 million. Vista Real Estate Investment Fund is rated in Costa Rica and Panama by Fitch Ratings, which currently assigns a rating for these countries of FII 2- for Costa Rica and FII 3 for Panama. And most importantly, what are the returns generated for investors? Rents received by the group of properties of the Vista Fund have given investors an historic liquid annual yield average of 9.14%. to which, because of capital gains generated by these properties, a profit on invested capital of 0.6% is added, completing an historic annual total yield of 9.74%. Anatomy of success. What is the reason for these excellent yields? How is this successful combination of profitability, diversification, liquidity, and security achieved? The base of the system, or the foundation on which the Vista Real Estate Fund is built, is the strict compliance to the investment policies and the conservative principles that have been applied to them. The Investment Committee of Vista applies these policies and principles when it analyzes each possible acquisition. The fund only invests in areas with high growth potential. The location of the property is very important because it determines the possible appreciation that a property may have in the future. Acobo Vista looks into various matters such as the structure of the building, its state of maintenance, age, quality of the construction, among other factors. The managers of the fund review the amount of rent paid on existing contracts, confirming that these prices are based on market value and that an annual percentage increase is set. The managers check for possible alternative uses of the property, discarding the ones built for very specific purposes or occupied by very particular tenants. Finally, they study the tenants of the buildings, searching for well-positioned companies within their branch of economic activity. If the result of this primary analysis is positive, two independent valuations of the building are carried out. One an expert report and the other a financial one. Once the corporation decides to purchase the property, the price of the transaction will be the lower of the two valuations. Once the building is added to Vista's portfolio, the corporation subscribes a policy against all risks at the Instituto Nacional de Seguros de Costa Rica to protect the investment in the event of any type of accident. Portfolio of properties. Another reason for the success of the Vista Real Estate Fund is the composition of its portfolio of properties, which, besides having excellent individual characteristics, assures its diversification by region, destination of use, and quality of the tenants. The properties of the Vista Real Estate Fund are located in Costa Rica, the majority in the Central Valley. Of the portfolio of properties in the Vista Real Estate Investment Fund, we highlight the main buildings. The Equus Building, Torre del Este, and accessory parking areas located in San Pedro opposite the University of Costa Rica in an area of great dynamism and high added value. The Zeta Tower building, opposite the Mall San Pedro, which has extra parking space that allows you to access two avenues, giving a higher value to the property. The Paris building, located in the county of Santa Ana, with more than 6,000 square meters of office space. The Torre Mercedes Siglo XXI building, situated in the center of our capital. The properties for industrial use include the warehouses of Coyol Alajuela, that besides having an area of more than 17,600 square meters, have the advantage of their proximity to the Juan Santa Maria International Airport. Warehouses of Bodegas del Sol, located in the Heredia area, with more than 14,000 square meters of rentable space. FlexiPark Warehouse, located on the Lindora Road in San Rafael de Alajuela, measuring more than 7,700 square meters. The Vista Real Estate Fund has 49% of its space in warehouses, 43% dedicated to offices, and 8% dedicated to commerce. Performance of the Real Estate Investment Fund managed by Acobo Vista. The quality of all these properties owned by Acobo Vista Real Estate Investment Fund ensure that our investors receive a benefit and an excellent periodic income, as evidenced by the historical analysis of its yields. Since its inception, the holders of shares in the Vista Real Estate Fund have obtained an historical average annual liquid yield of 9.14%, to which we must add 0.6% from the revaluation of the properties, resulting in an annual historical total performance of 9.74%. There is a difference between book value and the value calculated by the engineer expert, resulting from the valuations of the properties carried out each year. This difference amounts to approximately $50 million, which represents an additional 35% implicit in the value of the share. More importantly, investing in the Acobo Vista Real Estate Fund is a solid and resistant investment, like the bricks of the buildings which compose it, able to face the economic and financial crises and becoming a safe and profitable haven for your capital. In summary, participation in the real estate fund of Acobo Vista Investment Fund Corporation is ideal for investors who wish to obtain a regular income and at the same time enjoy the increasing appreciation of their capital without the volatility that other instruments possess. The Vista Real Estate Investment Fund provides a permanent source of income to the investor and capital gains that are typical in real estate. In addition to this is the safety offered by diversification, by the quality of the assets, and their growth potential. As a participant of the Real Estate Investment Fund of Acobo Vista Investment Fund Corporation, you can see and touch your investment, one that is solid and durable. With the Vista Real Estate Fund, you walk on your investment.